Hello, everyone. Welcome to another day of drawing.
Hi, hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Mm,
Hello.
hello. And I hope you've all had a wonderful day so far.
Yeah.
So, let's just hop into warm up. Circles and then 1 point perspective. We'll set a timer for 7 minutes. We do some circles. Alright, that was 7 minutes of circles. We will now do 7 minutes of 1-point perspectives. Alright, that's it for warm-up. Good job. We will now hop over to next lesson in the box challenge. Let me just stop the music. Okay. So then, the challenge.
$250 box challenge, the challenge. Drawing boxes. Welcome to the Crucible. If you haven't completed lesson 1 yet, I'd recommend you go and do that first. This exercise is probably what Drawbox is best known for, and perhaps most reviled. Which is kind of unfortunate given that it's a pretty basic exercise. As one might imagine, you draw a box, then do it again another 249 times. I cover it partially in my notes about the organic perspective exercise, but before we get to drawing, I don't want you leaving thinking that this is all there is to the exercise. Some people rush off without getting all the instructions and fail to make the most of the arduous task. There's a little more to it which is explained in the video as well as below. I like the little demon Urshad. Alright. Drawing through your forms. This exercise is all about developing your understanding of 3D space and how forms can be manipulated within it. In order to do this most effectively, we can't be thinking about what we draw as being lines on a flat page or simple flat shapes. We need to work towards understanding how each form sits in 3D space. Do you want me to do that right now? The first step towards this is to draw through our forms, that is, drawing all the edges, including those that we cannot see. Think of it like you have X-ray vision. We already did some of this in lesson 1. You can see what that looks like. Okay. Doing this forces us to understand to a much greater degree how the forms we draw exist in space. You may find it difficult to do so and may find that oftentimes the back corner fails to fit within the rest. This is completely normal. As we draw a box, we regularly make small mistakes in our angles and trajectories of our edges. We compensate for them as we continue to build out our box. This accumulation of mistakes always falls on the lines that have yet to be drawn, and if we're not drawing through them, it becomes quite easy to get by without having to deal with the issues present. Once we draw that back corner, however, we're forced to come to terms with our blunders. Okay, now we're going to go look at the Y method in the organic perspective exercise notes. Boxes.
Ooh, bonus material. What is she
Is it
doing?
somewhere in here? Bom. Going to start with, I'll just read this. So, alright, we're going to start with one box. For that box, find the corner that is going to be closest to the viewer and draw out each of the lines coming off of that corner. Oh, okay, we'll find then. Bleh. So draw the corner
We,
that
we
lines from,
already we already know this.
but we do point. done all that, we would come to my. Anyway, welcome to my crummy reading today. That's all right. So, after we've finished the box, the next part is to check our convergences. Noticing and identifying our mistakes is a major part of the learning process, and sometimes it's not necessarily something we can pick up on easily with the naked eye. For this reason, I recommend that you apply the following technique to each and every box you draw for this challenge. Once you've completed drawing a page of boxes, grab a pen of a different color and a ruler and start extending your lines back in space, meaning towards their implied vanishing points. You don't have to extend it all the way. Usually this will be impossible due to vanishing points falling way off the page, but extend them as much as you reasonably can. By looking at how a given set of parallel lines, that is a set meant to converge towards a single vanishing point, actually behaves, we can identify patterns in our mistakes. So here, the lines don't actually go out to their all the way to their vanishing point, just enough to where you can see if you've made a horrible mistake. And you can see the notes. The green one has a line that's way off. The red one's pretty good. This blue one down here, the middle lines are actually diverging instead of converging. So all your lines should be converging to like the same vanishing point. Now, do not extend in the wrong direction. As there's a lot to take in, sometimes students move forward without fully understanding what the line extension method really means, and as a result, extend their lines in the wrong direction. This gives them no useful information, leaving them uncertain and confused. Our lines must be extended away from the viewer towards the implied vanishing point and never towards the viewer. Make sure that when you are about to extend your lines that you think about which side of the box is pointing towards you, the viewer. Sometimes students will feel that they need to extend their lines in the direction that they converge, but this is incorrect. Sometimes because we have drawn the initial box incorrectly, our lines will diverge as they move farther away from us. This is the kind of mistake we're trying to identify by extending the lines. Since we apply this technique after we've completed a full page of boxes, it may be a little difficult to identify which side of the box is which since we're drawing through our boxes. In order to avoid this, you can fill one of the faces pointing towards the viewer with tight hatching, as shown in the examples, as well as in the next section, when you draw the box itself. That way, when you come back to it, its orientation in space will be much clearer. So here we have some poorly drawn boxes. We're going to apply the align extension technique to check them for mistakes. Sometimes students will accidentally extend lines in the wrong direction. We want to extend them away from the viewer towards the vanishing point to test how they converge towards the vanishing point. These are wrong. So in this upper left, the red lines extend towards the viewer, which is the wrong direction. And to the right, the blue lines are extended in the wrong direction. They should be going the opposite way. And then here, the green lines are extended towards the viewer away from the vanishing point, and that also gives us no useful information. Now, these three boxes are all extended correctly. You can see the lines move away from the viewer. So that way you can see how well of a job you've done. All right. Now, line weight. One technique that is extremely useful both in reinforcing the illusion of solidity in our forms and in helping to organize our line work and clarify how different forms overlap is the use of line weight. Basically, it means making certain lines thicker than others by going back over them with a confident planned stroke. When adding line weight to a box, there are a few things to remember. Firstly, weight is relative. You're not going in to make one line extremely bold on its own. You're going in to make it subtly thicker than another. This doesn't require the addition of much extra thickness, just enough to set it apart. Our subconscious will pick up on this difference even if our eyes don't immediately, and will understand the hierarchy this is creating. So the box on the left is too uniform. This is how you construct your box, but it's not done yet. This box to the right has added weight to internal lines, and this breaks the cohesion of the form, and it feels more like individual lines rather than one cohesive form. So don't do this. And then now here to the left, there's too much line weight. You need to be subtle. Line weight whispers to the subconscious, do not shout. And finally to the right here is the correct box. Subtle line weight around the silhouette reinforcing the form, and filling the front-facing plane with tight hatching clarifies which side faces the viewer. And that way when you come back after a page is done and extend your lines, you know how to start. All right. So secondly, use the line weight to create a solid silhouette. This means focusing that weight along the outer edges of your form. If you focus the weight on the internal edges, you'll give the impression that your box is really just a loose collection of lines. Adding them to the silhouette, on the other hand, will enclose them into a single cohesive group. Now, foreshortening. As explained in the extra box notes of Lesson 1, which I think is a video, a box with a lot of dramatic, rapid foreshortening, with its vanishing points positioned close to the form itself, is going to suggest a very large scale or an object that is right up to the viewer's eye. Alternatively, shallower foreshortening with far off vanishing points and minimal convergence towards them is going to imply that an object is either at a more human scale or simply far away. I want you to make sure you practice both of these, perhaps with a bit more of a lean towards the shallower foreshortening. These will be especially relevant in later lessons as we use boxes to construct more complex objects, due to most things we're drawing not being so immensely large. Still, it is valuable to get used to both situations as they both pose different kinds of challenges. So the left has the dramatic foreshortening and the right has the shallow. So, in order to complete this challenge, you must draw the following in either fine liner, felt tip pen ideally, or ballpoint pen. Don't use ballpoint. 250 boxes, drawing through each one and applying the line extension method to check for errors after completing each page, not after each box. Width of opposite ends. This was initially pointed out in the cylinder challenge, but is entirely relevant here as well, as explained back in Lesson 1's ellipses. If you have a plane in 3D space and you turn that plane slowly to face away from you, it will steadily get narrower and narrower. In terms of an ellipse enclosed within that plane, this is the degree of that ellipse gradually decreasing. When we have a box floating in 3D space, unless you're looking right down the barrel of one of its faces, either end of the box is going to be sitting at a slightly different orientation relative to the viewer. That is, the angle of the plane's orientation in space will be different. The more space there is between these faces, the more different that orientation will be. This goes for any of the three pairs of faces in a box. As a result, the farther end of the box is always going to be wider, and therefore be oriented more towards the viewer, than the closer end. This is important to keep in mind when thinking of how your boxes fit in 3D space. Generally speaking, the idea of the proportional width, We're not talking about overall size, just the width in proportion to the plane scale. Being related to a flat surface's orientation in space is pretty important and will come up in cylinders as well as any kind of cross section of a form. And then there's a picture. The farther face of the box or cylinder will always be more turned towards the viewer, resulting in that face being proportionally wider or a higher degree in an ellipse. This is entirely separate from it being smaller overall due to its greater distance.
Bing bong. Right, so to recap, draw your checking lines away from the viewer and do a very subtle, stronger line weight on the outside of the box, shade in the front facing side. Focus on you using shallow foreshortening, so not too crazy convergences. Yes, good. Box challenge. If you haven't yet completed oh sorry, I'll use my narration. Oh, Juno asks, how do you know if the lines are away or towards the viewer? I don't think I get that. Oh. So every line, one direction goes towards the viewer, the other one goes away from the viewer. You can see here. Oh, my mouse isn't showing up. All right. But the lines, they aren't just flat lines, you know. They're in 3D space, meaning they have an orientation towards you. So you draw in the orientation that's facing away, that's moving away from you, right? Physias, do you draw the correction away from the face, closer to the viewer? Yes, so you always draw them in the direction that is away from the viewer. If you haven't yet completed the 250 box challenge, make sure that you tackle that first. Not only will it help further develop your grasp of how to construct forms freely rotated in 3D space, it'll also help you develop the kind of discipline and patience that will serve you throughout this entire course. Keep in mind that if you're on the official critique track, you must get your 250 box challenge marked as complete before moving on to the next lesson. And of course, be sure to balance it with the 50% rule from lesson 0. So, probably the most important thing you're going to learn from this challenge is patience and discipline.
I'm going to let you in on a little bit of a secret. Artists as a whole, the whole profession of, being an artist, of drawing pictures and painting and all that, it's built on the idea that all artists are liars. It's what we do, and we do a very good job of it. Everything that we do is built around the idea that we need to lie to our audience. We need to take something that is inherently flat, a flat drawing, a flat canvas. Maybe there's a little bit of bumpy paint on it, but it's still flat.
Sense ID is asking, why are we going through this exercise? Shouldn't we complete the 250 box challenge? This is the 250 box challenge. I go into the 250 box challenge, and then I go down here and go on to the next page. And this is the next page. Oh, wait. Oh, is this skipping to the next lesson? Oh. Oh, I see. Alright. My bad. Okay, so we just start doing the exercise now. What's this additional boxes exercise then? Listed here are a couple variations on the basic box exercise that should help you until after you're fully comfortable with construct. Alright, so yes. Alright. I thought I just continued with the lesson. But so we will be doing the exercise now. Y'all hype for this is what we came here for. The big box challenge, drawing boxes. That's why we're here. Yes. We won't go on to the next lesson until we're done with this box challenge, just because Comfy states that in the beginning of the next lesson here. Somewhere. I don't know. He says it somewhere that you have to complete this one. So we're gonna be doing the box challenge. Alright, let me just get some nice box drawing music going. Alright, that might be a bit too high pace. Let me see if I can find something a bit more gentle. There we go. Much better. Let me see if I can find a version. I didn't realize all that static until just now. Well, that's way better. There we go. That's way better.
I'd say about 6 boxes seems to fit good for a page. Well, however many you have right now, go ahead and check it, because then we'll finish up for today with free draw after we've checked them. It's completely fine if your boxes aren't perfect right now. Like, they're supposed to be really bad right now, otherwise we wouldn't be doing this exercise. So, if all your boxes are perfect, then there's no reason for you to be here. Failing is part of the course. Alright, well, I suppose we'll go on to some free draw. Hell yeah, Judy, your boxes suck. Yeah, mine too. Don't go back and redo everything, please. No grinding. We will do 30 minutes of free draw now. Let me find some nice free draw music. Art time! Time to review everyone's art. Well, let's see what everyone drew today. One Halloween I chose to be a box. Hey, good job. This person is in front of their time. It was
creative.
It was predestined. All right. Yeah, I had the same problem here. For me, my backline and frontline always diverge from each other. That was my problem here. Otherwise, it looks good. Oh. Oh no. Oh no, he's turning into Lizard Man. Ah, he's turning into Bowser. Very cool. He's gonna go kidnap the princess now. Aw, isn't she adorable? Good job, Fizzy. Really nice shirt on her. Huh?
A bit janky, to be honest.
Hey, come on. There's no need to criticize. I like it.
Thank you.
Ooh, big Kuma bear. Oh, stars in his eyes. Oh yeah, he's living the dream.
Big fluffy bear.
He finished all his homework, now he gets to cuddle with his full body bear plushie in his astronaut bed. This kid is very lucky.
Dreams come true.
Yes.
Oh god.
Oh.
I don't even want to look at this.
Oh, left, yeah. Ooh. I like how you drew it like Nick and there. Oh shit! Oh damn! I gotta censor. All her clothes is off here floating in the distance in a magical
I don't
void.
really know what I was drawing. I was like, oh fuck no! I don't even want to look at this.
You
it's
did
like,
good.
It's Universe Chan.
Oh.
Yes. Very cute. Here I made one. I got bit by a mosquito yesterday, so I drew this.
Oh.
I was angry at mosquitoes. Then we have this one, which geez, there's a lot of stuff happening here.
Oh, trippy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice eye.
Oh, thanks. That's a bit too much to unpack. Here we have an army of these guys coming. They seem pissed. Ooh, it's the workers are unionizing. Oh. I mean, there's not much challenge in making your lines diverge when they're all parallel, is there? I know they said go for little foreshortening, but I don't think they meant just completely drop foreshortening at all. This is actually this is a perspective called orthographic, I believe, which is where all vanishing points are just put to infinity. Used for many isometric games. Oh, look, it's all the animals having a nice little camp party. They need a little fire in the middle, sitting on some logs. I love
penguin.
Yeah, I was
That's
about
so
to comment on that.
adorable.
Okay. This is a very cute zebra, by the way. Oh, I love Trash Panda. They're the best.
You mean raccoons?
Trash
Snuffies.
panda.
Wait, am I right?
We got the panda, the trash panda, the ice panda, that's possum, crow, and tiny zebra. There we go. Ooh. Damn, this is good.
Holy.
Yeah. This is something.
Grandma out for a walk.
Yeah.
Grandma with a shade.
You fill out the whole page, you can turn this into a masterpiece. Start taking commissions. Good job. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure OCAT left. He wanted me to call him out on it whenever he did, because he found that he dipped every time we started free drawing, so now I'm calling him out on it. Anyways, that's it for today. Go tell OCAT to not ditch free draw next time. I hope you have a continued wonderful day and good night if that's where you're going. Sleep well. Bye bye.
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 Bye.